This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Oh my God!
Welcome to episode 4 of the only wrestling podcast hitting you in the face like an Attitude Era steel chair. Welcome to the DocNJock Wrestling Show. I am Adam the Jock Strozinski, and rolling with me is my other member of the bar. Because if you don't know what that is, you're going to have to listen to the DocNJock Show. I'm missing a tooth like Cesaro over here. My other member of the bar, John the Doc Macaroon. What's going on, John?
You know we got to say it. We don't just set the bar. We are the bar.
We are the bar. That's right.
No doubt about it,
Damn
sir.
straight.
Even though you're looking all jacked up over there, we still got to talk about professional wrestling. A major pay-per-view is upon us this Sunday, 7 o'clock, Survivor Series.
We got go-home shows.
And they were good. I thoroughly enjoyed them, right?
Yeah, I was going to save it for the end there, but yeah, I was thoroughly impressed this week with both Raw and SmackDown. I thought they were great go-home shows. A lot of times the go-home shows come across a little bit flat. They leave you wanting a little bit more. You feel like they could have did a little bit more, and I think they hit their mark, both Raw and SmackDown this week.
Super excited for Survivor Series. I felt like some of the swerves in terms of some of the matches changing were appropriate, but let's start with this. I kind of felt a little bit disappointed when Raw kind of announced the 5th member of their team. They changed it up. I was very disappointed in that. I understand if you kind of look long-term, you could be setting up a Triple H versus Shane McMahon matchup if it doesn't go exactly right.
You're also possibly setting up a Triple H versus
Kurt Angle
matchup.
Exactly.
And for those who don't know, Triple H was named as the 5th member of Raw, and we'll get into all of that.
Yeah, I like the segment, but I just feel like Triple H, John Cena, I know that you have star power for a major event. It does show you that they definitely view the Survivor Series as a main event, as a major pay-per-view. I mean, you had Sting debut. You've had a lot of great memories. And so to have Triple H, which I guess we could have thought he would be involved because he has been wrestling on some sideshows overseas. You have John Cena. You can't just leave him on the sideline. But I just feel like you could have kept Jason Jordan. You could have maybe added somebody else to the lineup. I understand this can be done to further other storylines that you want to go forward with. I'm just kind of disappointed. I was kind of surprised at myself and my own reaction to it. I didn't pop as hard as I thought I would.
I got you. I think it sets up for a much more interesting match, and I think it draws viewers in because I think Triple H is a much bigger draw than Jason Jordan. Shocking, I know. But the thing that really kind of bums me out is when you look at these rosters for both SmackDown and for Raw, and not so much with Raw. Really with Raw, you've got Kurt Angle and you've got Triple H. They're kind of the old guard there. Not really sitting there taking any spotlight or any shine from any young up-and-comer. But if you look at SmackDown, I mean, you've got Shane McMahon, you got John Cena, and you got Randy Orton. And it's like, okay, cool. The old folks home let out, and these guys are free, so let's go pick them up and add them to the roster. Like, I just feel like they're taking up spots. Me and you both love the Attitude Era so much, right? It was one of the greatest times in all of wrestling. And a lot of that had to do with the competition between WWE and WCW, as well as ECW was involved. But it never seemed like there was an old-timer coming and taking the spotlight or taking the shine from a new guy. And maybe that's just because at the time, everybody on that roster knew that they had to sit there and basically hit home runs. You couldn't hit a single or a double. You had to go out every night and you had to hit a home run. But, like, you weren't going to take the spotlight from Stone Cold. You weren't going to take the spotlight from The Rock. You know what I'm saying? You just weren't going to do it. You weren't going to take it from Shawn Michaels, and you weren't going to take it from Triple H. You just weren't going to do it. It wasn't going to be allowed. And I just sometimes feel like right now the product that we have, you've got old-timers that come back because they want either one last match, they want one last hurrah, they want one last pop, and they end up sucking something up and taking it away from a younger guy who really needs the shine, who maybe needs the rub. And that one match could help get that kid over or catapult that person into the stratosphere. And I just don't ever remember anything like that ever taking place. And I'm sure it did. I just don't remember it or recall it taking place during the Attitude Era or during that era of wrestling that me and you both had where we grew up watching it every single Saturday, every single Sunday.
So Raw opens up with Stephanie McMahon undressing Kurt Angle.
Dude, he took it like a dweeb. I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of man are you?
Exactly. Now, the Shield showed up, and it was nice to see Roman Reigns back. I guess the virus didn't take control of him. He was back, and you knew once he came back, that's the missing piece. You needed Roman Reigns back.
You did need him back. And were you surprised by the pop that he got when he walked in the arena? Like, they cheered for Ambrose, and they cheered for Rollins. But when Roman Reigns showed up, that place was electric. And it wasn't this mix of boos and cheers. No. It was like 95% cheers. They wanted him.
Because of the memories that we had with the Shield. You got to remember, this is a badass group that debuted about 5 years ago at the Survivor Series. And, in the fashion of the Horsemen, the NWO, DX, a group like that, like the Shield, came in like gangbusters, and they got over. And so a guy like Roman Reigns, apart from the Shield, I don't think people like. They don't like the way that he presents himself. They don't like his promos. They feel like he needed to stick with the Shield longer, build himself up while he earned that cred. The reason why fans didn't like Roman Reigns is they felt like he was handed the torch without really earning it. The fans don't just give you the torch. No, they need you to have quality matchups. They need you to be like AJ Styles, where you put in 18 years grinding, and then you come in and you have 5-star matches with Chris Jericho, 5-star matches with John Cena. You don't just get to be, a 7-foot behemoth and be the man just because WWE wants you to be the man. No, you got to look at Daniel Bryan, a guy that had to work his way up, that was basically embarrassed having a 25-second match at a WrestleMania. That's how he got over, is that he was the underdog role. So the fans probably respect Roman Reigns a lot more as the leader of the Shield, and that's where he needs to be. And just look, he cut a great promo.
He cut such a great promo. And
awesome.
He seemed so comfortable doing it. Like, he basically was the only one who was allowed to talk back to Stephanie, who was undressing everybody at this point, and basically calls her out and is like, bitch, where you been at? You haven't been around for 6 months. And we do what we want. And you know what we want? We want to take on the New Day at Survivor Series. And that's what we're going to do. And they sit there, they basically stick up for Kurt Angle, they shake his hand. I thought it was an awesome setup. I thought it was great, the way it all kind of unfolded. I love seeing Roman Reigns in a comfort zone and in a spot where he can cut a promo and he doesn't have to worry about stumbling over his own lines, doesn't have to worry about what's written down for him. He can just go out there and just kind of flow naturally. I enjoyed this entire segment up until the point, and except for the point where Kurt Angle was made to look like a total dork.
Yeah,
I hated that, because I don't know about you, and I know you're your own boss at this point, but I have a boss at both of my jobs. And I'm not saying this to be a hard ass or to sound like a tough guy, but I'm not going to let my boss talk to me the way Stephanie was talking to Kurt. You know what I'm saying? It just isn't happening. Like, you got to have some mutual respect there. And Kurt Angle deserves it, because he's been a guy who's done it all for basically 2 different wrestling organizations.
Basically, it's hard to believe or fathom Kurt Angle being undressed by Stephanie McMahon. It's not necessary.
Do you remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon would sit there and wrestle all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold Steve Austin would never get undressed like that. Would never get talked to like that. He would usually talk to Vince that way. It was always him getting over on Vince. Every now and then, Vince would get the upper hand. Do you know what I'm saying? When Stephanie and Triple H are in control, it's always them putting down whoever, and it's always making them look better. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always making Mr. and Mrs. McMahon look good, because that's what Triple H, he is Mr. McMahon. Always making him look good, making her look good. It's never them putting over the talent like Vince does. And I'll even say so much as Shane does when he sits there and he wrestles and he puts on programs.
Now, did you like the challenge that was laid out for the New Day from the Shield?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was all good. I thought the way everything kind of set up, it was awesome. I thought it was really good. The one thing I didn't like is the Shield ends up calling out the New Day, and then next thing you know, it's basically already okayed, and it's going to happen before you even have the New Day a chance to respond. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, cool. Like, I know we all live in this make-believe world that is called the WWE Universe. I'd like it to be a little bit more real sometimes, and that's what's so great about those promos that are they shoot or are they scripted promos? You know what I'm saying? That's why it always gets you more interested, because you think it's real life.
Quickly going through Raw before I talk about The Miz. In an ugly match, Bayley beats Mickie James as Asuka dismantles Dana Brooke. Drew Gulak has taken up the gimmick of Bo Dallas as he carries a sign to the ring that says, "No chance." Anything there that caught your eye with those two?
No.
Okay.
I thought the whole thing with Bayley and Mickie James and Asuka dismantling Dana Brooks was whatever. It was an match. Drew Gulak I find to be funny. I don't know why he's got Bo Dallas's old gimmick. It didn't work for Bo. It's not going to work for you. Him and Enzo end up beating up Kalisto and Tozawa. It's whatever. Let's just fast forward now. Let's go to the meat and potatoes. Miz hosts Miz TV with the bar. Now,
I was very disappointed, me personally, because as you know, we've pumped up the Miz here now for the better part of 2 months, and I just felt like this was a thrown together thing, and it kind of underwhelmed. I was looking at it going, seriously, I might want to change the channel here. I thought it dragged on. I felt like Cesaro and the way he was delivering it just kind of was there put together. I was a little bit underwhelmed. It felt like an off night for the Miz and Miz TV, really, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I felt like this was something that it didn't hold my attention is really what it was.
It was boring.
It was. And I think at this point, I know Cesaro's teeth are kind of jacked, right? I get it, right? And you're talking to a guy right now who's missing a tooth because his grill's so jacked. I think he needs to take the mouthpiece off when he's cutting a promo. I can't understand you. I don't know what you're saying.
Right.
And you're one of the best. Like, Cesaro is one of the best in-ring competitors. He is outstanding with a microphone. He does a really good job with Sheamus. He's a better talent than what they're giving him to work with. Take the mouthpiece out and just talk. I don't care if your teeth looks like you've been chewing on cinder blocks, bro. It's going to be okay. I promise you. I just posed for a Twitter picture while I'm missing a digit in my mouth, and you know what? It's going to be okay. Because sooner than later, I'm going to get that digit replaced. It'll be what it is. You'll be fine.
You know what I think needs to happen for the bar to even take the next step? They need an advocate. They need somebody to represent them that's a badass. I don't know who that could be, but I don't think it can be a Titus O'Neil. I don't think it's Enzo. I just feel like they needed like a Bobby Heenan. If he was in this era, or they needed somebody like a Mr. Fuji, somebody like that to kind of just come on in.
Like a Jim Cornette. Maybe not even Jim Cornette. I don't think Jim Cornette could work.
Even funnier, one day we'll talk about our favorite managers. Maybe even a Slick Rick would have been cool with these guys. A Slick Rick would have been funny, kind of a little bit Weasley, a little bit of a guy that kind of gets him over and gets him in. Or you know what? If you want to bring a name from the past, maybe even a Ron Simmons could come up there, suit up, be just a badass mofo and be like, this team needs some respect, and we're not going to ask for it anymore. We're going to come in here and motherfucking take it.
That would be awesome. You know, that's a good pull. That's a real. I mean, what is he doing? He's probably sitting on his couch, right?
Bring in Ron Simmons. Get these guys an advocate because these are foreign guys. You know, you need to get these guys to that next level. They're right there. You feel like they're just one advocate away from going to that next level, even to, you know, elite status. But hey, they're the bar. I understand what you're saying in terms of their promos, but you got to be able to understand what these dudes are doing. And with a mouthpiece, it's absolutely disrespectful to the audience trying to make, you know, you have to understand a promo. You can't have to fight that hard to listen to it.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
Yep.
So after that, Jason Jordan takes on Bray Wyatt in what is an okay match, I guess. It was just kind of there. After getting pinned, Bray destroys Jason's knee. Now, I find this to be interesting because I think it's a really good way to set up what's going to come and what is supposed to take place in the future. So you basically write Jason Jordan out of Survivor Series because now he's got a bum knee. He sits there, he cries, and he whines to his dad, who is Kurt Angle, to not pull him from this. So it shows this emotional, whiny, bitchy side of Jason Jordan, all right? Kurt's put in an uncomfortable spot where he now has to make a decision on what he's going to do for his Raw team. It's bad enough you got Stephanie basically telling you how you're going to fail and how you're awful at what you're doing. After all this, it also sets up for Jason Jordan's heel turn to take place later on down the line, which is what we're all expecting and we've all been waiting for. So all this is outstanding. I love this. And this will come to fruition a little bit later on when Kurt comes back out to talk about replacing Jason Jordan, who, like I said, begs to stay on the squad. While all this is going on, Stephanie comes out, cuts him off, and then Triple H's music hits. And then he just beelines to the ring where he tells Kurt that he's going to be the 5th member of Team Raw, and he proceeds to pedigree Jason Jordan. Now, I thought all of this was outstanding up until the point where he pedigrees Jason Jordan and Kurt does nothing.
Right, exactly.
So on this show, on the same show where it's been a lot of good, some bad. The things that have been bad is Kurt stands there and takes it like a dweeb while Stephanie undresses him verbally. And then Kurt stands there while his son, supposed son, sits there and gets pedigreed by Triple H. Now, let me just ask you, because you're a dad. I'm not a dad. You're a dad. If I come to your house and I was to take one of your daughters, I was to take Madeline, and I was to pedigree her, Would you not kick my ass?
Exactly. Not
You would
stand
beat
there.
the shit out of me.
Right, exactly.
It just, this comes off as so contrived and just sometimes poorly done, poorly executed. I feel like this could have been outstanding. It just, what they have Kurt doing, they set him up to look like he's a total nerd.
Exactly. And you got Jason Jordan, and this is the character development you want to go with him, where he beats Bray Wyatt. He's winning some matches against some foes that you don't think that he's supposed to win, and then you have him get destroyed by Triple H. It just seems like you prop him up only to then squash him. It doesn't seem like I like the direction. I guess both of us don't like the direction that this is now going with, Jason Jordan. I know that you like him to come back as a heel. I don't know. I just feel like maybe they're going to set up a situation where Jason Jordan now aligns with Kurt Angle against Triple H, or maybe he's now going to maybe involve himself in Survivor Series. Maybe they set up a scenario in which they want us to think that Jason Jordan could involve himself by either hurting Kurt Angle or Triple H in that matchup. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Jason Jordan is continued to be used. I just don't like the fact that you squash him at this point in time. And then obviously he created that GIF by crying. That's really funny. And I'm like, that's not the direction.
It's not the image you want.
No, it's not the image
for this guy
that you want at all. And now to my favorite part of Monday Night Raw. I'm going to play the clip here. I thought it was really outstanding and really well done by Paul Heyman, a guy that really is, as much as we don't like Brock Lesnar being a part-timer, it really is advantageous for him to work with Paul Heyman. I mean, the dude is an amazing advocate, and a funny moment happened on Monday Night Raw, and let's play it, and we'll talk about it after.
In my opinion, AJ Styles.
She said yes.
Paul Heyman seems a little confused. They're chanting, she said yes. Somebody in the WWE Universe just proposed.
Hey, just so you know, she only said yes because she's never been up close to a beast like Brock Lesnar. Just so you know, interrupting my promo is like stepping into the ring with Brock Lesnar. You ain't got a chance.
Dude, he handled it with such style and grace.
A lot of praise from everybody.
It was
Taz,
outstanding.
All the podcasts are like, wow, what a great way to create another WWE moment. But first and foremost, a lot of balls on the dude to propose during a promo. That was cool.
Promo, yeah.
Fans made it fun. The, she said yes chance. It kind of broke up the monotony of a promo a little bit, but all props to Heyman for handling it like that. I thought it was really classy and kind of funny too.
See, this is one of the things about somebody who is allowed the creative juice to do basically
Let
what it is
more
that they
do
want.
that.
Exactly.
Yes.
You would never be able to see Roman Reigns do something like that. He's not given the freedom to do something like that. John Cena can because he's given that freedom. Paul Heyman's allowed to basically go out there and do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? And I think guys like Paul Heyman and John Cena get it, right? We're going to go do this live. We've got one take. I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to do it your way. You can give me what you want me to say, and then I'll just take what I want from it. I'm going to do it my way. And there's nothing you can do to change that, because once I go live, I got one shot at it, and I got to make it good, and I got to make it believable. I think a lot of the times with these younger wrestlers, they don't understand that. Okay, this is what's given to me. I've got to read it word for word, verbatim. It doesn't work like that, because it comes across as if you're a cardboard box.
And then if you forget your words,
you
then
stutter,
you sound,
and yeah.
it makes for bad promos. And
it
so,
does.
I
He
mean,
handled it like such a champ, dude. He was able to include all of that into his promo and then build off of it.
It makes you question, what are they teaching at NXT? Because they have promo classes. You know that each of these individuals, like a Samoa Joe, like a Cesaro, they've all been in front of the camera. They have an extensive promo class. But it just goes to show you that it's not exactly easy to do. Paul Heyman's been doing it for a long time, and he's just a natural at it. It's just, we kind of miss the good old days with The Rock and Triple H. And
well, The Rock was one of the few guys who sat there and mastered it, understood it. Was like, they'd sit there and they'd go to tape a back set, like a behind-the-scenes vignette, and he would sit there and he would screw it up 12 times in a row, because he knew that they had to go live, in the next 2 minutes, and he knew he wasn't going to have time to get it done, so he would screw up purposely 12 times in a row so he could go live and do whatever it was that he wanted to do.
Basically,
That's the guy who figured out
what we're
the system.
complaining about is we don't have feuds where two people are outstanding on the mic at the same time.
Yes.
You got one person that can stick the mic in his face and talk like a Paul Heyman, but what you need is you need the foil for that person. You need the opposing person, like John. They tried with John Cena and Roman Reigns, and it got close. I think the last great promo that both parties were really good was WrestleMania build up with John Cena and The Miz. They both were going toe to toe, but you need both of those people, and there's just not enough of that. Back in the day, you had The Rock, you had Mankind, Triple H, Mick Foley as well in his personalities. So you had a lot more guys that could be on the mic and do it. So the art of the promo, super tough, no doubt about it, right?
It is. Going back to Paul Heyman's promo, I found it to be quite interesting the way he sat there and he built up AJ. He put AJ over.
You have to.
But he buried Jinder.
Yeah.
So, Jinder doesn't need to be buried. Jinder needs to be built up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I find this to be interesting the way they did this. Like, he sat there and he basically cut Jinder's legs out from underneath him and then threw him into a 6-foot grave and said, hey, try to get out. And as you're trying to get out, I'm going to throw all this dirt in on top of you. Good luck, bro. And while AJ Styles, he basically built the dude a ladder and was like, hey, let me put you all the way up here as high as I can. I find it to be really interesting the way that happened. And some background politics that might have been taking place was the reason AJ got the belt might not have been so much Vince, but it might have been more Paul Heyman convincing Vince to put it on AJ so him and Brock could have a good match. And I do think at some point it's going to be Brock versus Finn Balor. The whole purpose of this, because you heard when Paul was giving the promo, he compared AJ and Finn together. And I think he's trying to weave a little line in there to help connect what's going to happen in the future, where it's going to be Brock Lesnar taking on AJ Styles and then Brock Lesnar taking on Finn Balor.
Yeah, we both can agree that Jinder versus Brock didn't have the heat that it needed.
It didn't.
So now you have a great matchup we're all looking forward to, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. I can roll with that. I agree 100% with what you're saying. No doubt about it. I think that the main event is going to be outstanding, and we'll talk about our thoughts about Survivor Series a little bit later. Take me through the rest of Raw. What did you think?
So then we got our Shield reunion match. I thought that was awesome. I thought it was great. It was awesome to see. They did their triple powerbomb. I thought it was great. I'm not sure how you felt about it. I'm sure you felt the same exact way. I thought the Finn, Joe tag team versus Gallows and Andersons, I thought that was really good. They showed that they could work together. They were tagging in and out. I felt like they put on a tag team match the way a tag team match is supposed to look. Sometimes you have these matches go on where you've got a guy getting beat up or fighting back from the opposite corner. It doesn't necessarily make sense. Let's have a conversation here like we're going to have like a real fight, right? So me and you are on a team and we're going to fight, I don't know, Brian and Vinny, all right? We're sitting, I'll start the match, it'll be me versus Brian, and I'll sit there, I'll get Brian in a headlock, and I'll take him into our corner, right? And then me and you are just going to keep tagging in and out, and we're just going to be dropping boots and elbows and haymakers and keeping him pinned in that corner. We're not going to let him get out. What would be the point of me putting on work over near his corner by his guy or in some opposite corner? No, you drag him to your side and you work him over in your side, in your corner. It looked like a legitimate tag team match. It was very well done. I thought it was outstanding. Alexa Bliss cut a real good promo, basically slamming SmackDown as the B Show.
Good, it was good, right?
Yes. I think the best line was, I'll DVR it later and forget to watch it. I thought that was great. I thought it was awesome. And then we had Strowman versus Kang to wrap up. That was our main event.
Yep.
It was a big physical match. It ended with Kane going through the mat. It was never actually a match because they never rang the bell. I mean, that was reiterated 19 times through this 10, 12-minute match. I don't know. It was a way to sit there and build up Strowman, and I guess Kane doesn't look weak. I don't know.
I like the ambiguity of what happened to these guys.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good match, a physical matchup. I like I said, Braun Strowman is a featured attraction. They built him up that way with having him destroy people through the ring and the weight of his moves. They're building him up as they should. Kane doesn't come across looking weak, and it was a good match. It was a good match to end a go-home show for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So now we transition into SmackDown, and SmackDown opens up with Shane opening the show, giving a pump-up promo to the SmackDown roster. And I thought this was kind of fun. This was cool. This then transitions over to Daniel Bryan, who cuts a good promo, and then he introduces AJ Styles. Now, this is where it gets really, really fun, and it gets really, really good. And we're going to talk about this because I thought this was outstanding. The two of them then mock Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar from Monday night's promo when Daniel Bryan plays Paul Heyman. I absolutely love the first 20 minutes.
Perfect. I would have just given it and opened the show with Daniel Bryan introducing AJ Styles. I mean, you did not need to have Shane McMahon do that because they've already teased it. You could have had the announcers do that. You knew that the Raw characters were going to come and retaliate for what SmackDown did to open up the feud, setting up Survivor Series. You didn't need 5-6 minutes of that just talking like, yeah, we got to prepare, we got to do this. Basically, I know that they have to address some fans that might be casually trying to understand what's going on, but 7 minutes to kind of reiterate again that this is a feud between two brands, that they're going to come, that we don't want to be known as the B show, and all of that kind of stuff. Basically, you did 7 minutes of a recap that any hardcore fan that's been watching already knew. So I was going, come on, tick, tick, tick. You could have did that in 2 minutes. Like, look, guys, this is going to be a go-home show. It's going to be an awesome show. We got to make sure we watch out for Raw. Let's get to it. Boom. Kick to Daniel Bryan. You wasted 6 minutes of all that. I didn't like the pump-up promo. I immediately loved what Daniel Bryan did and said, oh, do you want an advocate? And Daniel Bryan cut a scathing promo on Brock Lesnar, calling him basically a quitter and saying that,
Thought it was so great.
Saying that, look, AJ's the wrestler, and he's going to take you, Brock Lesnar, to parts maybe that you're not aware of or that you don't know you have, and when you're mentally tired, you might be prone to quit. And so you really did a good job. I just felt like when AJ got the ball, dropped it a little bit. I wasn't like, he needed that finishing touch, and it's kind of like basic. I felt like, you know what? You didn't even need AJ to talk at all.
I think we can both agree. AJ is not
the best.
He's not the best on the mic. He is good.
Good enough.
Yes.
But he needs to kind of up it a little bit more to get you where he needs to be to that next level.
If we were going to say, like, Ric Flair is, like, the best.
Test, yeah.
Yeah. And John Cena's, like, there next to Ric Flair. AJ Styles is a few notches below those guys.
A B. He's a B promo guy. But his wrestling is
yes.
8 6+, so it's A plus.
Yeah.
So it makes up for that.
He is considered the total package because he can wrestle with anybody. He can sell for anybody. He can make every move look legit. His in-ring work is phenomenal. That's why he's the phenomenal one.
Yes.
His mic skills are okay.
Exactly.
And physically, you can believe that he could be a champion. Like, he does not look sloppy. He does not look out of shape. He's got a very good look to him.
Now, a thought that I had that I don't think a lot of people had was, man, it would be nice if Daniel Bryan could wrestle.
It would be great.
WrestleMania, if somehow or another a miracle happened and he got cleared, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan,
oh my God,
you'd have a series of matches that would be really good.
It'd be so good.
But Daniel Bryan should also maybe consider being the manager of AJ Styles. I think that that's a perfect fit too. You could have another advocate where you got a guy that's in your corner and you go, you know what, I'm taking this guy to the next level and get him to matches where he needs to be. Maybe you kind of build a little bit of heat with the other wrestlers saying, oh, this guy's got some special advantages and things like that. But I enjoyed the opening segment outside of Shane's intro to the show.
I absolutely love the first 20 minutes. Even with Shane's pump-up promo, I thought it was okay. I love the Daniel Bryan and the AJ promo. I thought it was very, very good.
So we move along to Baron Corbin and Sin Cara. And
did Corbin get new music?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, good. Because I was listening and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Is that new music?
It's much better.
Yes.
I think this is his third version of his entrance song from the first time he debuted, but this is the best one.
Can he become a good wrestler now?
Yes.
He's got good music. Can he become a good wrestler?
I was like, Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara. Come on. Are you
How many
serious?
times we got to watch this?
Okay, Corbin wins the match.
Yes.
Obviously, he needs to go over on Sin Cara. Just another throwaway match, but good for him.
Mm-hmm. So then we have Charlotte versus Natalya, and they have a very, very good match. These are two of the best women in all of WWE. They put on an excellent match. It ends with Charlotte submitting Natty and winning the belt.
In Charlotte, North Carolina. And I love the way they played it where she said, look, my dad's not here. You thought, okay, now he's going to come out. He doesn't come out yet.
She gave a very emotional speech to everybody in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Then she walks up the ramp. Then Ric Flair's music hits.
And she was totally surprised.
It was good.
She legitimately was surprised.
That was good.
How emotional did you get in this moment? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I got emotional.
It was nice to see Ric Flair out there.
I was sitting there with my wife. I got choked up. I almost started to cry. I had to choke back
You know why
tears.
I didn't? They've done this before. I mean,
I know they've done
this.
This
is not new.
Ric Flair almost died like a month ago, right?
Right.
He was almost dead a month ago. And the fact that he is up and walking around is unbelievable. And you could see the real emotion in her face. Dude, it tugged at heartstrings.
Yeah, but we've been kind of inundated with Ric Flair lately, and he's been on all the ESPN shows. So I didn't miss Ric Flair because I seen his old ass all over television and all over Twitter.
I totally get it, but
so it's like, okay, see,
in real life, he almost died, dude.
What he needs though, he's gonna
live to be like 1,000.
His hairdo's got to be reworked or something, dude. He looks really
like
old.
87.
Yeah, but you can age properly. You can look better as an old guy.
That guy used to drink 20 drinks a day. like 7 days a week. He is not aging properly.
Just his
he banged over 10,000 women.
But I'm saying he looks
He's lucky
okay.
his penis hasn't fallen off.
He looks okay for an old guy. It's just the hair has got to be reworked.
It is not good.
It's got to be done, right?
It is not good. Anyways, I thought that was an awesome moment. That right there, along with the AJ promo, I think really kind of sealed the deal for SmackDown for me. The Usos then come out and they cut a very good promo on the bar. They then take on Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. By the way, Jimmy Uso's knee appears to be A1, so he suckered me. He suckered me for sure. I thought it was an okay tag match. The Usos won, so it's what it is. New Day then comes out and cuts a promo on the Shield, and it made me laugh. They start talking about unicorns and hounds and how dogs eat their poo, and basically it was what they had tweeted out earlier in the day.
Yep.
So I found it to be hilarious, thought it was funny. It was what it was. This then sets up to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming out for a tag match against Big E and Xavier Woods. This is your main event. I thought it was an okay main event. I thought it was going pretty good. I was then pumped up as soon as the Shield showed up. It was awesome.
Very awesome.
Great.
Good stuff.
So
The payoff hit.
It was the payoff hit. So the Shield shows up in the crowd and they're making their way down to the ring. And at this point, all three members of the New Day are in the middle of the ring with Kevin Owens on one side and Sami Zayn on the other, and they're all looking at each other like, all right, yeah, there's 5 of us, there's 3 of them, let's pair up, let's beat them up. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do what they do. They dip out, but roll out of the ring, head to the back, while the Shield starts to dismantle everybody and everything.
That's how it should end. That's what you need to do. You need to pump up the feud between Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown got the first shot in by invading Raw. Raw comes back in the go-home show for SmackDown, and the Shield, they're the MVP of Monday Night Raw. They got to go in. They're going to be called upon to do some things, and why not? I thought it was a quality main event. I loved the way it ended. I thought it was a perfect thing where the first thought I had was, can't wait for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Can't we just see how this plays out?
Me too. I was totally pumped up about it. Basically, all of the SmackDown wrestlers come down to the ring. All of the Raw roster comes down to the ring, and they just end up having a melee. Shane McMahon gets triple power-bombed by the Shield 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
It was pretty awesome. The way
That's how you retaliate for a brand coming onto your brand and doing what SmackDown did to Raw. That's how you take care of business.
Absolutely. I think going into Tuesday night, SmackDown had all the momentum. Yep. I think with this final siege, if you will, that took place, Raw stole the momentum back heading into Sunday's Survivor Series. I thought the whole way this has played out has been excellent. They've done a great job. These have been some of the best go-home shows and some of the best shows that have built to a pay-per-view in a long, long time. Something that they have needed. It feels like we've got a payoff every time we turn around. It's been great.
I'm excited to see the Survivor Series. What's the verdict? Which show was better in your mind?
I thought SmackDown was. I mean, I love the way it ended.
Clearly.
I love the beginning. It never felt like it let up. It was like the foot on the gas the whole way.
Exactly. SmackDown wins the week just because of the fact that Raw was okay, but when you had the Miz segment that didn't deliver, you had a couple situations where there were lulls in the show, and the cruiserweights, the women, haven't been as impressive as we would like. So I thought thoroughly through, SmackDown won the week, no doubt about it.
All right, you want some news and notes?
I do, but hold on that thought. Let's quickly, I do want to talk about this weekend Survivor Series quickly because it's a big pay-per-view. I kind of want to get just your sense of how do you think it's going to go? Do you think they're going to have a specific winner? Like, do you see more emphasis being placed on the setup now for WrestleMania? Because in years past, what you've seen is Survivor Series is a kind of way to establish the main feud. And I feel like you're going to see one established, probably with Triple H and Kurt Angle or Triple H and Shane McMahon. So we know that's going to go down. But a couple matches that I'm fascinated to get your thoughts on, I want to know. First and foremost, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles. We talked about it a little bit.
Do you want to go through the card? Do you want to give results?
Quickly.
Okay, let's do that. I'll keep the what we
I have it right here. Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion, WWE Champion, AJ Styles. We both think that Brock's going to go over, but it might be a quality matchup. But we definitely have a strong feeling it's going to be a great match that elevates both guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match.
Just don't squash AJ. Just let him go 10 minutes and have a great match and let AJ, showcase his skills. Maybe even a couple false finishes where we think AJ might win it.
Yeah, as long as you don't squash AJ, I think it's going to be a good match because AJ can wrestle with anybody, but I think Brock gets the W.
Any chance they let AJ go to the stratosphere and get him over?
Oh my God, I'd lose it. I'd lose it. I would jump.
Listen,
I would pop as hard as I popped when the Hardy Boys showed up at WrestleMania.
If the entire card sucks
or Royal Rumble, I don't remember which one showed up at.
If the entire card is terrible and AJ wins it in a quality matchup, I feel like you establish him as the guy. and the guy that's been the workhorse of the organization, you got to do it. Shield versus New Day. I think we both think that the Shield's going to get over here. Great matchup. Shield has to go over them. You don't bring them back. First match with Roman Reigns and they lose to the New Day. Come on.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair might be the matchup that I have no clue who deserves to win. I mean, I think that we know that WWE has a lot of respect for Charlotte, but putting her into the match this quick, I think they want to continue to elevate Alexa at this point.
I think they want to continue to elevate Alexa as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte won, though.
Yeah,
I think
you got to have some matches that Raw wins. Yeah.
Well, I think Charlotte can beat Alexa and it not hurt Alexa. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
you know what? I'm looking at this now in the preview. It seems like, just in my thoughts, seems like the Raw side should win. Like, look, going it real quickly.
Yeah.
I would have Brock Lesnar win, the Shield win, Alexa Bliss win, The Miz beats him, The Bar beat the Usos, Kurt Angle's team wins, Alicia Fox. I mean, you could have the women's side go.
Let's talk.
Wow.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
I've got some different thoughts.
Just looking at just name recognition alone, it does seem kind of one-sided early on, just looking at the card.
I think Charlotte's going to win this because I think you could put her over Alexa, and Alexa doesn't need to win this.
Yeah. Miz, Baron Corbin.
Miz, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Bar
Miz
versus the Usos probably has a chance to steal the show.
It really does, and I've been really impressed with the Usos lately. I thought they've been awesome, and Cesaro and Sheamus can both hold their own. I think the Usos win that. I really do. I think the Usos win that because they've been on such a roll lately.
Do you think that they're just going to emphasize that who wins the card is based on the Survivor Series traditional matchups? Like, they're not going to keep a scorecard of all the other matches, but they're going to really emphasize the women's Survivor Series match, the 5-on-5, and then the men's 5-on-5?
I think so.
Because if you look at it, you could probably go 4-3 in Raw's favor, based on those kind of matchups total. But with the overemphasis, the way I'm looking at it, I think the men's Raw team wins 5-on-5, and then the women's team on the other side defeats Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Asuka, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. That's how I see it playing. I'm seeing the SmackDown team winning the women's 5-on-5, and the Raw team winning the men's 5-on-5.
See, I see.
It just seems better. Kurt Angle, Triple H, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe versus Shane McMahon, Cena, Orton, Nakamura, and Rude. Just on face value, that team's better.
Yeah.
The Raw team's better.
Yeah, I think the Raw men's team's better.
You can't have...
and I think the Raw women's team will win, too.
Yeah.
I
do?
I do.
Both?
I do. Because you got to remember, too, you've got Asuka in this. I think this is where you're going to make Asuka look really, really strong. You've always wanted to make Nia Jax look really strong. There's a way to make her look really strong.
You know what?
As far as the girls go, who do you really have? You got Becky, who I think's outstanding in the ring.
Okay, then the only way you have both Raw teams win the 5-on-5 if you have AJ Styles win, because then you've set up Shane McMahon going, we're not the B team. You can't get squashed.
That's true.
So if you do that, you can execute it properly if both teams on Raw win. If AJ Styles goes over on,
so who do you think's gonna? So you think the Raw men will win?
The Raw men win,
and you think the SmackDown women? Okay,
that's how I view it.
All right,
this has the making of a really good pay-per-view based on the matches that we just talked about. It looks really good. I'm getting excited, but I kind of am fascinated how they want to play this because just in my thoughts, Raw is the big brand. I mean, in terms of the names, the bigger stars, just looking at the names that I just said, like I said earlier, I feel like the bigger stars, the better stars are on Raw. And going into the 25th anniversary, I think it's going to be close. There's 7 matchups. I do see maybe 4-3 total in matchups going in Raw's favor. So if there's going to be 4 matchups, I would say it would be Brock Lesnar, Alexa Bliss, The Shield, and Kurt Angle's team. Those are the 4 matchups that they win.
I think Brock beats AJ. And I think it's going to be like a sweep for Raw. I really do. I think Brock beats AJ.
All 7?
Well, I think Brock beats AJ. I think the Shield beats New Day. I think Charlotte will beat Alexa.
Yeah.
I think Miz will beat Corbin.
So
and I think the Usos will beat the Bar.
Yeah.
And then I think
you got a 4-3 as well. Maybe 5-2 or 4-3.
And then close. I've got the Raw men beating SmackDown. I've got the Raw women beating SmackDown.
Yeah, you got a 5-2. Okay. I think it's going to be closer. I think if you realistically look at it,
that'd be what 3-3. That's everything we got, right?
So there's 7 matchups total.
What am I missing here?
You got Brock Lesnar winning.
Yep.
You got the Shield winning.
Yep.
You got the Bar winning.
No, I've got the Usos winning.
Okay, and then you got.
Do you have the Bar winning?
I have the Bar winning.
Okay, so let me adjust that.
And then you have Kurt Angle and the women's team. So you got a 5-2. I think you only got two.
No, I've got Charlotte. That's SmackDown. I've got the Miz. That's SmackDown.
No, Miz.
Miz is Raw. You're right. You
got a 5-2.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
I got a 4-3. You have it for Survivor Series being 5-2. I got it 4-3. I don't see a scenario in which SmackDown comes across looking that weak, but I don't see Raw coming across as losers as well.
I gotcha.
You excited? How you gonna watch it?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I want to, dude, the way it kind of ended and the way it set everything up, this is one that you've got to watch. Like, I feel like you have to watch this. You can't miss this. Mm-hmm. It left me wanting more.
Exactly. So, I'm excited for Survivor Series. You love it too because it's 7:00 start. The classic situations where someone might debut, you might have a surprise, you might have a swerve, you might have a heel turn. But I think if there's one match on the card you're most excited to see, what's the MVP of this card?
I think Brock AJ.
Yeah,
I really think it's Brock AJ. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with the 5-on-5 men's match. I think that'll be good. Mm-hmm. But dude, it's got to be Brock AJ, right?
Ooh, it's going to be good. I'm hoping it. I'm hoping it delivers. And I can't believe it's almost been 2 or 3 years since Sting debuted. You believe that?
Wow,
how fast time flies?
Yeah.
How time flies, huh?
It has been.
Good podcast, sir. I'm looking forward to
news
recapping.
And notes real quick for you. So Triple H is going to face Jinder Mahal in India.
Woo!
Turns out that WWE has canceled a date, the December 8th date in India. Yep. So now they're only doing a one-day show in India, and that's on December 9th, and that's when the two will pair off. Neville may be returning back to WWE. Word is they've had good conversations, and he may be coming back by the end of November, maybe the beginning of December if everything plays out. Jack Swagger, you remember him? He signed up with Bellator to do MMA. Paige was supposed to be back on television.
Where was she? I was looking forward to it, right?
I was too. But it seems that she garnished a little bit of heat with all of her tweeting and Instagramming. She was basically posting
she ruined
pictures
the surprise.
of herself. Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
She was posting pictures of herself being back at Raw, and that probably cost her that 5th spot on the women's Raw team because it looked like it was slated to go right to her. She was going to be included in that 3-way, was going to make it a fatal 4-way, and she was going to come out the winner. Instead, she does not appear, and that spot goes to Bayley. So I expect to see her maybe next week on Raw.
And then the saddest news that just came across this week. Lay it on me.
James Ellsworth got released. Jobber to the stars. That guy has gone places no other jobber has ever gone.
I kind of felt like it was a hot start, but just kind of faded away, you know?
Dude, he got to kiss and work with Carmella, dude.
Yeah.
Hot.
Why do you think it happened? Why do you think he got released? Just no more heat? Just kind of had its run?
It had it run.
A jobber can only do so much.
With him. You know, I mean, he wasn't wrestling in the men's matches. He was basically her dog. That's what he was. She basically walked around on a leash, and then he got the boot to the face. That relationship's over. There's nothing left.
With a run like that he had, he'll make a killing on the indie scene. He'll make some money. He had his run. His dream scenario came true. It does give hope to the jobber that you can get over like that.
Yeah.
Jobber to the stars, James Ellsworth.
Dude, you just think about it, right? I mean, that guy went from basically working indie shows. He showed up at a house show, got crushed by Braun Strowman, and he was the butt end of a lot of jokes, but he got the cash WWE paycheck.
There you go. All right, sir. Looking forward to next week. Great recap regarding professional wrestling. Always a good time.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
See everybody next week.
Check out Survivor Series.